Wait.
Hit it.
Okay.
Oh, how you feel, brother?
Feeling good.
You feel good?
Feeling good. It's grooving.
Ain't so much bone, brother. How you feel, man?
I feel all right.
I call your name. I don't want no people to know you're in here. How you feel, fella? Hey, Jam. Sure getting down. But gotta take you higher. Ow. All right. You want to do it again? You want to do it again, huh?
Yeah, let's go on back.
Gotta take you high.
Hi, this is Shay, and I'm here with you with Drive Time. And I've got a very special guest here today. I'm actually in Northern California, and I'm actually at the ranch. It's Wild Farmers Ranch, or it's the Wild Farmers Project. And my guest is Veronica Stork. You already kind of see her on the camera. It's like she's trying to slide over and not be in the camera. We had a heck of a time getting on today, but we did not want to let this show go. And so first, I just want to thank you for being with me today. I'm so glad that we didn't have to not be here because of internet or whatever reasons. Today, the show is going to be about health and wellness, and we're going to talk about gallstones and where do those come from, and high blood pressure, and sugar, no sugar, should we eat it? What does salt do for us? Now, you may ask, well, who is Veronica? Well, she's not a medical doctor, but her foundation is so they're really interested in health, humanity, animals and animal welfare, and just, in general, just making a difference in people's lives. And so Veronica is very versed in a lot of the health and wellness issues, and she studies a lot. And so all the time when she and I are speaking, I'll ask her about something and she has all this knowledge. And so I wanted her to come on, and at first she hesitated because she said, well, I'm not a doctor, but we're just going to tell you where you can find information, and she's going to let you know why she says what she says. So, Veronica, I want to thank you so much for being on the air.
Well, thank you, Sherita. I love being here.
Good, good, good. Well, and we also have some emailed questions that I will cover today. Veronica, when I put it out there that the show was going to be about health and wellness, we had a few people that have already sent in some questions. But as the show goes on, if you have some questions, you can email us at 323-965-1600. That's 323-965-1600. So, Veronica, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look here, and just one of the questions, I just want to try and get to all of our different questions. Harold from South Pasadena, he says, my wife is suffering from gallstones and was wondering, can she get rid of them without surgery? So what do you know about that?
Well, Sherita, everything I've read says that there are about 1 million gallbladders taken out in the United States every year.
And annually? Not 1 million that have been taken out? We're talking a million
we're talking
annually.
Every year, 1 million gallbladders are taken out. And everyone seems to say, and I'm talking about, just like places like National Institutes of Health or Johns Hopkins, people that regularly have studies say that about 1/3 or less of those, you go from 20 to 33% of those are all that should be taken out.
Really? You know what? Now, this is why I wanted to have this show. I was recently told that I have gallstones. And you guys, I thought I was having a heart attack. And I was wondering, every time after I traveled, when I would come home, I would feel sick. And I even drove myself to the fire station a couple of months ago because I had such pain in my chest. And when I got around there, they stuck all these things on me. What do they call it? EKG or something, something like that.
Things, yeah.
And they stuck all those things on me and found out it wasn't my heart. And then recently I returned from a trip from out of the country. I was in Mexico. And of course I'm eating all this great food and, hanging out with Vicente Fox, the president, and all of that, and his wife, Marta, and their staff. And they're feeding me all this wonderful food. The very next morning when I got home, it's like something was in my chest and just gripped it and was squeezing it, and I couldn't breathe. I was sweating, was rushed to the hospital. And after 2 days, almost 2 days in the hospital, come to find out it was a gallstone attack. And so there's a lot of people that are suffering from this. And what I found out is every time when I'm traveling, I'm eating totally different than the way I cook for myself at home. Because I was wondering why, how come every time when I got home, I got sick.
Right.
So you're telling me, because I was thinking that I have to have my gallbladder removed. And there are other things that can happen besides having it removed?
Well, Western medicine generally is a cut and take medicine. So they will just chop off pieces of your body if you get them right. But there are other ways of doing it. One is diet, right? The other is sugar. You know, sugar is a big deal.
Sugar
is connected to everything. And sugar, they even call Alzheimer's now. There's a report that if you go to sugar plus Alzheimer's to NIH, you'll come up with a report with a study, and Alzheimer's is now called diabetes 3.
Wow. That's scary. So now,
and sugar contributes to a lot of different things. It's linked to heart disease. Sugar feeds cancer cells. It's linked to almost everything. Is one of those major poisons in our cupboards and we don't know about, and we're all hooked on it.
so from putting sugar in my coffee, I mean, do I have an option? Because I like sugar. I want it in my coffee. There's a lot of foods that I tend to put sugar on.
Yeah.
What would you suggest for someone that
don't do it?
that might like just a little bit of sweetness.
Well, you can have a little honey. You can have a little maple syrup.
Okay.
But one of the worst things for you is white sugar. And since
C&H is not going to like us after this show.
Since childhood, we've been addicted to sugar, and it's easy to get addicted to.
Now, I've even been told that there's sugar in McDonald's fries. Have you heard that?
Well, I would believe it. I haven't heard it, but I would believe it.
Because I love McDonald's fries.
Well, how do you you can't eat McDonald's fries. That's a no-no. You can't do it.
Yeah, I do need to change my diet. I do.
There's I'll tell you a story about McDonald's fries that will not make you want to eat them.
Uh-oh. Is that something that we can say on the air?
Oh, yeah. It's just about where the fries come from. They come from a certain kind of potato that are grown specifically for McDonald's fries. I forget the name of them, but they're a really big russet potato.
Okay.
And they have to be perfect for McDonald's. And McDonald's likes them because you can cut a long fry from them.
Yeah.
So that they can put those in those boxes and then they look like bouquets.
Yeah. Okay.
In order to grow them the way they have to use a lot of chemicals and poisons. They are so chemically soaked, as a matter of fact, but when the farmer picks them, harvests the potatoes,
right?
They have to be put in a special warehouse and nobody can go in there. There's fans and all kinds of things that are outgassing these potatoes.
Oh my God.
And for 5 days, no humans can go near it.
Because of the gases that's coming off of it.
Right.
The potato that we're eventually going to eat, that's a McDonald's fry.
It's outgassing poison.
Okay.
So really what you're eating when you eat a fry like that is just a nice
poison.
Piece of poison.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want you guys to first be able to see all of the wonderful things that Veronica is doing at the Stork Peterkin Foundation. She and her brother Tony Stork, they're partners in this. And up here in the Pacines Mountains, Picenius Mountains. The closest town is Hollister, California. But if you're not familiar with Hollister or even Gilroy, you're about, 2 hours from San Jose? Or
Gilroy's about 20 miles from San Jose.
Okay.
And it's about 50 miles from here.
Okay. And so, but it's beautiful mountains, beautiful land. I'm up here because not only are we having some meetings that's going to advance our program, which is called Collaborative 360, but we're also developing some programs and services, a retreat for whether you're wanting to do I have a business retreat, artist retreat, if you know someone that is into bird watching. And so it's going to have a whole lot of wonderful things up here at the ranch. So if you'd like to see the Stork Peterkin Foundation, you can go to storkpeterkin.org, and that's Stork, and Peterkin is Peterkin. So that's storkpeterkin.org, or you can go to
wildfarmers.org.
Okay, Veronica, I want to go another question. Man, you just made me not want McDonald's fries. Joyce C. from Albuquerque, New Mexico. She says, because I've been told I have high cholesterol, do I have to stop eating eggs? And now I know that you guys, you've had what I remember years ago, you had 80 chicks and you raised all these chickens, and one of them might have been called Renegade, but you produced the most beautiful eggs. Tell me about eggs and the relationship to cholesterol, or is there any?
Well, there's a big debate about, is cholesterol really bad for you?
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things about cholesterol is that that the studies on cholesterol, well, we don't need to go there, it's the longest story. But what I can tell you is there's a foundation called the Weston Price Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go to westonpricefoundation.org or Google it, and then in their own thing, go to just put in the search bar, Oiling of America.
Okay.
The Oiling of America, and they have a wonderful PDF that they did. It was actually a speech that they did years ago, and it covers a lot of things like cholesterol, because there's a lot of myths about cholesterol. There's they call it good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, and really, your body needs cholesterol. Cholesterol is what repairs what kids need cholesterol in order to grow well, in order to develop the hormones they need to develop. And and actually now cardiologists are debunking that whole thing. They're going back and realizing a lot of the things we were told is actually killing us, like that we don't have cholesterol, that we shouldn't have cholesterol, and all of these things are actually things that are giving people heart attacks.
So you mean for individuals, let's say they go to a restaurant and they say, I only want egg whites.
It's like there's nothing there. You might as well just not even drink water is better for you. Because the egg white is just what's around the yolk. It's kind of like the water that we float in when we're in our mother's stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And the yolk has everything in it that you need to survive, including things like L-arginine, where you can't really get very many places, and our bodies absolutely need L-arginine to keep our
L-arginine.
Yeah, to keep all the pathways clear for the blood to go.
Okay, so then for someone that is totally stopped eating eggs because they're trying to watch their cholesterol, they probably need to research further instead of just totally not eating eggs. And maybe there's still something else that they could be eating.
Absolutely.
Are there other things that are high in cholesterol that creates bad cholesterol?
Well, there are things that are high in carbs that are bad for you. And there is actually a bad cholesterol, but it would be a lot to go into this. It's not, and it comes from mainly things like dried milk, dried whey. So a lot of those spray-dried products.
Okay. So I can still keep eating.
I would say you better, especially if they're organic.
Okay.
You got to have organic.
Now,
eggs.
is there a difference between organic eggs and eggs at the store?
Absolutely.
I mean, eggs. Well, let me say this: organic eggs and non-organic eggs.
Yeah, and there's a difference also between like free range and organic. That, those are all like large conversations, but the thing is that mostly when you go to a store and you just take the eggs off the shelves, those eggs come from tortured hens, okay? They're kept in little cages. Even if it says humanely raised, now the whole idea of humanely raised is they get a whole square foot to themselves, maybe.
Throughout their whole life?
Throughout their whole life.
Okay.
So, humanely raised is nice, but it doesn't yet mean anything. But maybe
their cage is a little bit bigger.
Right. And also, like maybe, I don't know if they do this in California still, but what they do is they cut the legs off of the laying hens so they couldn't move around. They cut them and cage them. And then there's a little belt going through when they lay the eggs. And that's all
But these are legless chickens.
Yeah.
And then after they've had because they only have a lifespan of so long in laying eggs, right?
They go on and become dog food.
Wow.
Yeah. And meanwhile, they're pumped full of chemicals and speed and all kinds of things to make them lay more eggs. So they will be cost efficient. So you can have a really cheap egg that all it does is bad things to you.
Okay, so then what is free range? You mentioned free range chickens.
Free range, and the thing about free range also is you've got to know that it's free range, because the USDA definition of free range is very different from what you and I think of chickens out there clucking around, laying in bushes, right? The U.S.
Eating natural
Yeah,
grass or whatever,
yeah.
or
Free range, they still eat all the junk that they eat.
okay.
There's 20,000, it could be 20,000 chickens to a run.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of that, there'll be a door, and that door leads out onto a little postage stamp of dirt or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And for a few weeks of their life, those chickens have the ability to go outside. That's
Wait a
free
minute.
range.
So, but that doesn't sound good either. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
okay. So,
I'll tell you, the best place to get food is at a farmer's market, where people go to sell the food they raise.
okay. Because if they say free range and you're getting it at the store, then it's probably the way you just explained it.
Yeah.
But if it's the healthier, more natural free range,
You're more likely to get it at a farmer's market from somebody that has a few chickens.
and what kind of lifespan and how are those chickens being raised?
You know, it depends on the person, right? But most people that like to raise chickens
Mm-hmm.
have them around their backyard.
So they're
And they'll
okay.
collect the eggs. And, you
Okay.
know,
Okay.
so,
So they're living a little bit better life. And then it is true that if the chicken is not stressed or whatever, or if it is stressed, that shows up in the egg, or that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
And then that way we're not eating stressed eggs if we
Right.
want to eat eggs.
Yeah.
So it doesn't add to the stress and pressure I'm already under.
well, what it does is it takes away all the vitamins and minerals. You know, it's, when you get stressed, your body just like goes on hold.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Until you say that, I don't think about that. That's what happens with us too, and that's why I wanted to have you on today, because when we're in our private girlfriend kind of conversations, and when I'm down in LA, she's up here, and I'll tell her something even about my gallstones that just popped up. Well, not all of a sudden, because they said they're too large for it to have been all of a sudden. But I was speaking with her, and I said, you know what? I'd love to have that as my show, because again, not only is it a health concern for me, but it's a health concern for a lot of different people. And so let's find out what someone else is saying. Let's see. I did Harold. Let's see, Veronica, I got another. Phyllis says, from Los Angeles, I have hypertension. What are some of the foods that I should possibly eat, that I possibly eat every day, that could help prevent hypertension? So it's kind of mixed up in here.
No, I can understand.
Yeah, okay.
So guess what you want to stay away from?
Sugar. Sugar is really one of the worst things,
It is.
more so than salt.
Yes. Actually, salt is good for you. It's just the kind of salt we use. Americans eat a lot less salt than they should, but we all tend to eat either the sea salt that's white and been bleached to look pretty,
Okay.
or
Okay.
the sodium chloride, right?
Okay.
And I actually went to the store to buy some sodium chloride the other day, so I thought, okay, I'll just go get table salt.
Uh-huh.
I tried to find some. I mean, there were so many ingredients. It was like anti-caking agents.
What were you going to do with sodium chloride?
I was going to make some saline solution for the dog.
Oh, we got to talk about
Yeah.
that too. But, okay, so today we've got more than salt that's mad at us. We have CNH.
We can't say their names.
Oh, okay. We have CNH sugar. We have salt people and sugar people that are upset with us.
But you know, there are great salts. Okay, what is that called? Celtic salt.
Mhm.
It's like a sea salt, and it looks black. It's it's great.
Celtic
tasting.
salt.
Yeah,
So if someone
Or
hears that,
Celtic
where
salt.
can they probably get that?
they can probably get it at any health food store.
Okay. Okay.
Himalayan salt.
Uh-huh.
And then I personally like the salt from Redlands, Utah, which is just called pink salt. It is made
Okay.
up of 60 different minerals.
Wow. So you guys, it's not that you can't have salt. It's just you want to get the
good
Celtic salt,
the Celtic or Celtic salt.
Celtic or Celtic salt. And that's the pink salt or
No,
the black
that's the black salt.
the black salt.
And the Himalayan salt, which is
Okay.
the pink, and then pink salt, which is called real salt.
Okay. And they tend to be kind of larger and grainier than like the way the
Right.
sea salt looks, but it's not
Exactly.
that white salt.
Right.
So a lot of people that's talking about, Veronica, that they eat sea salt and it's better for them.
Yeah. Well,
It's-
the like the Irish salt, the Celtic salt,
Mm-hmm.
it's a sea salt. It's
Okay.
not as refined as
But-
what you get in the store.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's better for them to try and get it like at a health food store or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So I don't have to totally give up my salt. I can still have food that's seasoned.
Yeah.
And sugar is actually
Yeah, but
wreaking
you got to
havoc
try
on
and
me
have
more
all that
than.
seasoned food at home, because no matter where if you go to McDonald's, you're not going to get Himalayan salt.
Okay, okay. Well, again, Veronica, I want to thank you so much. And for anyone that just now tuned in, I have Veronica Stork. She's with the Stork Peterkin Foundation. She's my special guest today. And she has multiple programs and services under her foundation, animal welfare, particularly dogs. She's definitely a dog lover. We're going to talk about that. But she and her brother, Tony Stork, they are there's a pond that they have here on the land, and they're making sure they're redoing the pond because of the animals in the area. Many of them don't have the water that they need.
Yeah, because of
And
our
so,
drought.
yeah, so if you want to know more about Veronica Stork and Tony Stork and the Stork Peterkin Foundation, you can go to Stork Peterkin, and that's PETERKIN.org to find out more about their programs. Veronica, let's talk. I know that today we're talking about health and wellness, but I also want to talk about health and wellness for even animals. Uh, you're very knowledgeable about taking care of animals, and
I've
so
had animals all my life.
all your life.
Yeah, my grandmother, as a matter of fact, used to take care of all the animals that were on the police training school when I
Wow.
was little. So she was always, and she raised me. So
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned saline a moment ago, and we were talking about salt, and that's why I wanted to jump to the animals really quick. You were mixing some saline. Tell me about that.
What do you want me to tell you about?
What is it? What is?
Well, saline
what is saline?
solution, it's the same thing that you clean your eyes with.
Okay.
And if you get a wound, or if you have to go, and they rinse your wound out at the hospital, they use a sterile saline solution usually.
And that's made with salt.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
that.
just like two teaspoons of salt
Okay.
to a quart of water.
And you were doing that for your dog.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're treating your dog and
Yeah. I have to
her.
wash out her wound.
Yeah. Okay. And now, again, go to Stork Peterkin, PETERKIN.org to find out more on what's going on with the Stork Peterkin Foundation. Veronica, I have another question here. Let's see. Oh, there was something else about gallstones. And when you and I were speaking, you said that there are some people that are more apt to get gallstones than others.
You know you're not African American, right?
You know what?
You're not black.
I'm
We
not
know
black.
that.
Based on this information, I'm not black. Tell us about.
I was looking it up, and it said that whites, Native Americans, and Hispanics are prone to get gallstones, but African Americans just don't.
Well, see,
so I had to tell you.
I guess I'm just tanned Indian or something,
Yeah.
Native American.
Native American.
Well, maybe that's it also because
you're kind of native here, right?
Yeah. And my grandmother is I forget what kind of Indian, but they say that we all are mixed with something.
Okay. So
but yeah, I have a lot of Indian in me. So lucky me that gives me gallstones, right? And so, but again, this show, we're talking about health and wellness. We're talking about the different things that we can do in our everyday life to prevent different kinds of illnesses. And then also, there's a lot of foods that we eat every single day that we are we used to eat. We either stay away from them, either because of hypertension or cholesterol, and we've been told something, or we eat too much of it and don't know that it's impacting us. We were just talking about sugar, and so much of what we eat has sugar in it. I know, even Veronica, when I'm reading labels, I'm surprised at certain foods and how much sugar is in them.
Everything has sugar in it. If you start reading labels, it's like,
but why? I don't understand.
Because it'll keep you coming back.
Because sugar gets us addicted to something. Really?
Well, look at it. If you go out and eat something and there's a little bit of sweetness to it, and there's it's balanced just right, it may be the worst thing for you in the world, but you're going to have it again.
Yeah.
So sugar gets us addicted.
Yeah. I mean, I even like a little sugar in my tuna fish. If I have sweet potato, if I have,
sweet potato pie.
Yes.
We know how we love that.
Potato salad. A lot of those things that I know don't even need it.
Yeah. I know.
Just to have that little bit of sweetness to it makes me like it more. And so even from chocolates to desserts.
You just have to train yourself to like the other stuff. You
Is
know,
brown sugar better
yeah,
than
because
regular
brown
sugar?
sugar is just white with molasses on it.
So it's not better for you.
No.
You mean those little brown packets that I think I'm being healthier?
Oh, you mean the what they call the turbinado sugar or what?
I don't
It's
know. They're
still
just in those
processed.
little
It's
little.
still processed sugar.
So it's not better for me.
Oh,
So that
I'm
paper
sorry.
that I'm looking at and I'm thinking that they're healthy and they may have a little healthy looking design on it. It makes me think that it's
Yeah,
earthy,
I
and
know. It's a nice
I'm
thought,
just
isn't it?
yeah.
I know. Well, like the addicts.
I
Well,
thought
can't I just have that? That looks good.
I thought it was better for me. Okay. So then is Splenda or any of those better
No,
than sugar?
those are really bad.
Those are worse than sugar.
Yeah, and those are pretty bad because they have been linked to all kinds of things. And they say, I think, what is it? Now, Splenda, they sold Splenda on the fact that it was actually derived from sugar, and then they got sued a few years back because it,
It's not?
no.
Okay.
Even if it was derived from sugar, can you imagine how they get it?
Okay. So then we're talking about chemicals and everything else.
Yeah.
Okay. Joanne from Kansas wants to know what are some of the substitutes. Well, we've been talking about that. Some of the substitutes that she can do in place of sugar. So we've already been talking about that.
Well, honey and maple syrup are good, but it's the same thing. You don't want to have a lot of it every day
Okay.
because
so
it still will wreak havoc in your body.
is pure honey better than sugar?
Yeah, raw honey.
Or raw honey?
Yeah,
Raw honey, not pure honey. Okay.
yeah. It's not boiled. It's the thing about raw honey. So that
Okay.
you have all the nutrients still in it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Well, okay. So then, Veronica, bees. I know that there's been something about bees and how with them disappearing in our environments or whatever's killing them, whether it's the air or whatever. Without bees,
Without bees, there won't really be us much longer.
Tell me about that, because that's going to impact our health.
Yeah, because, for instance, almonds.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have almonds without bees because almonds don't have a natural pollinator. Bees pollinate the almonds so that they can actually make a fruit. And there's a lot of other things like that.
Now, almonds come off of trees, right?
Right.
So you have bees that's hitting each one of those little bitty almonds on those trees?
Yeah. And when they talk about they don't know what's happening to the bees are very sensitive to chemicals. And was it last year or the year before, I took a picture of all these beehives that were just filled with bees, and the almond trees were in full bloom. And here comes the plane spraying the almonds, and they just kill the bees.
What? What? Wait a minute. So now the planes are spraying the trees, not to kill the bees, though, right?
Right.
Why are they spraying the trees?
Oh, that's a good question, because they like to spray the trees they spray the trees for all different kinds of things.
Trying to protect them from insects that would kill the almonds or whatever?
I don't know. I mean, I think the theory is that it's the insects but really what it does is it does everything, right? It weakens the trees. It makes them more susceptible to disease. Therefore, they need to be sprayed more, and kills the bees and us too. I mean, that spray. As a matter of fact, my husband's cousin has an almond orchard, and it is against. I mean, they are not allowed when they spray the almond trees. They are not allowed to let anybody go in there for at least 7 days. That's how lethal that stuff is. But you don't ever see that being followed.
But aren't they aware that that's also killing the bees and that the bees are needed for those almonds to do what they need to do?
They don't want to look at that part of it. That's why there's this big whole thing. Where have all the bees gone? Everybody's talking about where have all the bees gone.
Yeah.
All you got to do is look and you know where the bees have gone.
Okay, but
little crosses everywhere.
But if I'm an almond farmer and I know that bees are important for my almonds to be the best almonds they can be, why would I let something come and kill all the bees that I need my crop to be?
Boy, we're getting into really heavy stuff here because the thing is that farmers have a lot of farmers are educated in the college system, right? The college system is completely supported by the petrochemical industries,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So what do you think they learn in school?
Okay.
And
Okay.
this is everything is in that.
Okay.
Yeah. Same thing with doctors, veterinarians. We're talking about big pharma. How do they impact us?
Okay, then are almonds still good for us? Because I wanted to
Almonds.
I wanted to bring that back around to our health again.
Organic almonds are great for us.
And what are some of the things that almonds benefit?
Well, I don't know specifically, but I'll tell you that I had a friend that believed that if you ate 3 almonds a day, you would boost your immune system.
Oh, I can't go on there. Let's see. We've got all these computers here and can't. Let's see. If I want to get Veronica here on your system, get into because I want to look that up. Okay, because I've been trying to eat more almonds because I just hear that they're great for me. So I'm just wondering, what can I eat? What
Eat organic almonds. They're great for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
There's lots of stuff you can eat.
Uh-huh.
The only thing you can't eat is sugar and white flour. And I have a
white
friend,
flour.
Lauren.
We hadn't talked about that.
Here's the thing. I have a friend, Lauren, who makes all these really delicious things, even breads and things, but with cauliflower. She steams the cauliflower or something, or does it raw, and then she grinds it up and she uses it, and the stuff is absolutely delicious.
Without using regular flour, she uses cauliflower.
Using any flour at
okay.
all.
Now, what's wrong with flour?
Let's just keep going on this.
Well, yeah. We're wanting to know what stuff.
Well, one of the things is I think it was Weston Price, as a matter of fact. The Weston Price Foundation is. You want this? Huh?
Yes.
The Weston Price Foundation was named after this dentist, Weston Price, in the 1800s, and he went all over the world looking at people's teeth. And I think it was one of those northern countries like Norway or Denmark or something, Iceland, that he found this group of people that never brushed their teeth. And their teeth were completely green. But when he scraped all the gunk of their teeth and stuff, their teeth were absolutely perfect.
So they weren't rotting out, but
they just never brushed them. So, they weren't white like ours.
But the food that they were eating wasn't rotting the teeth.
There was only 2 things that he could find they didn't eat: flour and sugar.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So even though they had all that stuff on their teeth, because what we eat, if that was all on our teeth and for a long period of time, there's going to be cavities and all kinds of things under there.
We didn't brush our teeth with all kinds of nasty stuff.
So we're brushing our teeth with stuff that's not good for us either.
Yeah, because it's why I don't know why she swallowed the fly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. Health benefits. Let's see. Almonds are packed with vitamins, minerals, protein, and fiber, and are associated with a number of health benefits. Just a handful of almonds, approximately 1 ounce, contains 1/8 of our necessary daily protein, along with those chemicals you've been telling me about, huh?
Not the organic ones.
Not the organic ones.
For you.
Okay. Let's see. What else?
They must have other things too. It's not just proteins, because I know almonds are supposed to be.
Well, it says nutritional report: almonds raw, 1 cup whole. Oh no, that's making something, I guess.
Well, the sad thing is you can't really get raw almonds in California anymore unless you have a friend with almond trees. And lucky you do.
Let's see. Daily cola raises cancer risk due to caramel coloring. We don't want to look at that. Let's see. Almonds reducing cancer risk. Researchers at the Department of Nutrition University of California conducted a study to determine the effect of almonds on colon cancer. According to the authors, the results were suggested that almond consumption may reduce colon cancer risk and does so via at least one almond. One almond is that lipid associated component?
Uh-huh.
What is that? Or do you know?
I do know, but
Let's say, Sherita, you're asking me stuff like, and Veronica, again, I know that you're
but I
not
don't know
that
right
medical
now.
doctor.
I'm not at all.
But I do know that you study a lot about this stuff and that you're reading a lot about what's good for us and what's not.
Well, what it was is that in the 60s, there was a big movement to take control of our lives by taking control of our bodies.
Uh-huh.
And we routinely hand over control of our bodies to someone else that has an ulterior motive. And our best health is not in their best interest.
Okay.
And just knowing what we need to know to keep ourselves healthy gives us, if we have to go in and use a doctor or something like that, then we understand what's going on.
Okay.
So it's, I'd say taking control of your own health is probably one of the most important things, because you know how it is. You feel better.
Yes.
Everything in your life changes.
Yes.
Everything's more successful.
Yeah, I know that I know that they talk a lot about that there are energy foods, but the fact that I've just been trying to eat better, just even over this past week. I mean, I don't get as sluggish during the day,
right?
But even today, you guys, I ended up with a headache, and I started to take something, and then Veronica said, "Sherita, just go out and walk in the sun for a moment." I did that, walk in the sun, came back in, drank a full glass of water, and my headache went away.
Yeah,
you know,
I'd say probably most of the ills, I'd say like 90% of illnesses can be cured with us drinking more water, probably.
Yeah. You hear that? So oftentimes it's because we are dehydrated. So, Rock, you hear that? Do you have some water sitting there? Yes, you do. Oh, that little bitty bottle. What'd you say? 5% of something beats 100% of nothing. My engineer there, he's looking, I can see him, and showed us this little bitty tiny bottle of water, but at least you had it there and it was emptied, so that means that you drank it. You guys, you've got to drink more water. Yes, and it is, I was reading something a few years ago, and they were talking about, Veronica, that a lot of the Alzheimer's is due to dehydration.
Yeah, and when you think of it, that when you feel thirsty, that's the last step of dehydration. So that's the last thing you feel when you're dehydrated is thirsty. When you're dehydrating, you don't feel thirsty.
You don't feel thirsty, but you still should be drinking it anyway. You know, It's kind of like when you're stressing and then you have a heart attack. It didn't start there.
Right.
It was leading up to that.
Yeah.
So we're trying to prevent you guys from having heart attacks, strokes, and eating bad almonds and not eating eggs because you think that the cholesterol is killing you, and that you
letting those doctors chop out parts of it.
Yes. And you can eat salt, but you need to eat the right salt, but anything in moderation. And so it's not that we're trying to prove the medical doctors wrong. It's not that we're trying to close down a company saying you shouldn't eat something. What this show is about today is about, again, like Veronica said, you taking control of your own health. What are the things that you're eating or not eating that's impacting your everyday life and your health? And even if it's not showing up right now, how's it going to show up a year from now, 2 years from now, 20 years from now? And so just we all have the internet right at the tip of our fingers. We can start. Rock is showing us he's got his little yogurt going on. And the thing is that we can take control of our lives. It's not that you have to totally just be empty of all the things that you would love to eat, but anything in moderation. And this is what I'm trying to do with myself. I'm trying to eat better. I'm trying to drink more water. I'm trying to relax a little bit more. I'm trying to, instead of just totally staying away from salt, realizing that my biggest culprit of what I've been doing wrong has been the sugar in my diet.
Yeah.
The sugar and the white flour, because I love sandwiches. I love spaghetti. I love anything carbs.
Yeah.
You know, and now if I don't want to eat spaghetti, I want spaghetti, there's got to be a healthier way.
I just had this Britt Monroe made this dish for me, and it's called zoodles.
Mm-hmm.
and it was like zucchini or something like that. That she had a machine that made them into noodles that were like, and they were more tasty than any
Well, now that's a
spaghetti
thought.
you could have.
Because the thing
They
is
were
I
real.
just
I mean,
want
they
that.
had butter in them. They
Yeah.
had garlic. And these things you could die.
You told me something else about butter, because I love, love, love butter too, you guys. And she told me some good news about butter. And if you're eating margarine, stop it. Stop it. Because butter is so much better for you. Real butter. Can you give us any kind of your insight on butter?
Well, actually, right now, cardiologists are going back on everything they said about the other stuff. They're recognizing that things like margarine and all the vegetable oils that, I don't know, canola, corn oil, all those oils actually were killing people. So
Wow.
everything's going back to the real fats, like lard, butter, all those things that we thought or we were told weren't good for you. They're now going back and say, eat the bacon, cook your eggs, fry your eggs in butter. It's good for you.
What? Wait a minute, lard. Because I grew up with us cooking with lard.
And you know what? You were healthier then. Your family was probably healthier then.
Lard, like that white
lard,
canned
comes
lard.
from pigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So you're saying
My grandmother used to actually make her own lard and make her own, like whenever she cooked a chicken, she'd take the fat off and she'd cook with that chicken fat. My grandmother lived to be 102 years old, and she was healthy.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You guys, you can eat bacon. You can
you can check it out on places like Johns Hopkins.
Yeah.
You know, you can go on the internet and check that out on Mercola.com, on
So that old
the
commercial.
NIH, National Institutes of Health website.
Yeah.
And check it out for yourself, and you can see what's going on with that.
So that old commercial, remember that commercial? You can bring home the bacon, fry it up in the pan. You know, oh yeah, she had her baby on her hip, and she laid the bacon in the pan, and they were talking about how, you know, well, anyway, it was an old commercial. But the fact is that, ladies and gentlemen, you can eat bacon. You know, I mean, and I'm glad to hear about that, because I was trying to stay away from bacon. Veronica, I had stopped eating butter and was eating margarine.
Shame on you.
And
but you know, you and everybody else, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was only buying margarine. I for years, I probably hadn't bought real butter. 10 years or more. And was it you or someone was telling me that margarine has plastic in it?
Someone else, because I know that they're allowed plastic in cheese, like when you go to the movies and you get those nachos with that melty cheese on top.
Yes.
They're allowed a certain percentage of plastic in that, sort of look nice and glossy and stuff.
Plastic, like plastic, like
right.
Probably what this has in it.
And it'll look cute, you know. Yummy.
And so we're eating that, and that plastic sits in our system, and then we're wondering why we're getting sick.
It's processed foods. Anytime you eat a processed food, you can be sure that it's not good for you. You eat the way it comes out of the cow, the way it comes out of the ground, you know, cheese that's made from good, fresh, raw milk, even all the things that are best for us. The way they ate basically around 200 years ago was probably the best way to eat. Yeah.
So if we can get back to eating the way we ate 200 years ago.
Right.
So the people that are now doing the community gardens and raising their own gardens in their yard, those that are raising their own chickens, hatching their own eggs,
having their own meat.
Yeah. So if someone lives in a city, in the inner city, in urban communities.
Well, you know, now, I mean, chickens are really catching on around in cities now.
Yeah. Matter of fact, we're doing a nonprofit in New Orleans, and he raises chickens, and he's a prominent business owner, but he has chickens right there.
I lived in San Francisco. I used to have chickens and ducks.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Well, again, my very special guest is also a very dear friend of mine, Veronica Stork. She's the co-founder of the Stork Peterkin Foundation with her wonderful brother. He's like my brother from another mother, Tony Stork. And also George, we can't forget George. That's
Shout
where
out.
Peterkin comes in. George is Veronica's husband. George, if you're watching us, hi. And the thing is that I'm so excited that you're on today. Again, I wanted to share your knowledge because so often you and I are talking, whether we're planning program services or whatever, you always give me tidbits about health and wellness. And when I started changing my diet and watching the things that you had told me about, and then I read up on it, I'm feeling better. And if I would have met you sooner and started changing my diet years ago, I know I wouldn't even have gallstones right
Was
now.
that my fault?
But you're making me better now.
Yeah.
And my goal is to not have to have my gallbladder removed. I don't want to be one of those, what is it, a million annually, where gallbladders
And
are
you got to
removed?
remember homeopathy.
Homeopathy.
Right.
Now, for those that never, there are a lot of people that still haven't heard anything about homeopathy. They may not believe that it is effective. Tell us a little bit about.
Homeopathy is a real science. Around the turn of the century, about, I think it was like 30% of all physicians were homeopathic physicians. And it's based on like cures like, but it's also based on the fact that your body, if your body is brought into balance, it'll cure itself. So the remedy doesn't go, you don't give a remedy to go and cure, like, you cut your arm, you give yourself an antibiotic. It's not for that. The remedy is to bring your body into balance so that your body will then take care of the infection, take care of everything, close it up.
So in essence, our bodies.
I cut that finger in half, all the way down the middle.
Oh my gosh! How did you do that? Heck!
I was pounding in nails with the roof, and it was a hammer. Bounced off the nail.
That makes my stomach feel sick.
It split it like a grape. I was like, oh, that hurts. So I went downstairs and stuck it in ice. And then, I went to the emergency the next day, and they got pissed off because they couldn't sew it, and it was too late. So they bound it up. And then it started having a red line. So I went to my doctor, who's a homeopath.
And now you can bend it fine. It's working fine.
They told me at the emergency that I would always have a terrible scar.
And I didn't even know that happened. And I've known you years, and until you just mentioned that, I didn't even know.
Yeah, they said that would be scarred terribly, but Corey gave me a remedy, and it did a funny thing. It took it a month to heal completely, but then it got like this whole cap on it, and the cap fell off. I had a new thumb.
Oh my goodness. So again, this is Veronica Stork with the Stork Peterkin Foundation. You can find out more about her organization, her health and wellness initiatives, her quest to help humanity, animal rescue, all of that. Go to our website at Stork Peterkin, and that's PETERKIN.org. That's storkpeterkin.org to find out more about the Stork Peterkin Foundation. Veronica, what is your email?
It's vstork@storkpeterkin.org.
Okay, vstork@storkpeterkin.org. So if you have more questions, if you'd like to, let's say that you'd love to have a retreat on a beautiful 40-plus acre ranch. It's just amazing. It's mountains all the way around, the most beautiful sunsets, easy access. You're going about 30 miles away from the closest town, right?
35 to Hollister.
35 to Hollister.
Yeah.
But it is so worth it. And so if you're looking at holding a business retreat, if you'd like to, we even have had stargazing. I mean, the stars are so amazing here. So many of us, because we're in the city so often, we don't realize the light pollution that's preventing us from seeing the beauty of the stars. And so we've had stargazing, and we've had games that we play to find all of the different constellations, and just, it's an amazing, amazing time away from our busy schedules in the city. So if you, again, go to storkpeterkin.org to find out more. That's storkpeterkin.org.
Or wildfarmers.org.
Or wildfarmers.org. Wildfarmers.org. Veronica, we have about 5 more minutes. Is there anything else from your wonderful head of knowledge that you'd like to impart upon us?
Well, I just wanted to add about storkpeterkin.org that we deal with the wilderness, but we look at it the whole world in a holistic manner, which means we do everything. We have business incubation, we have business groups.
Yes.
We also are coming out with the aid of, as you know, some software developers, complete forward security for the internet.
Yes, yes.
So, there's
You won't
a lot of things we do.
believe what they're doing. I mean, we've been meeting just the other day, and I'm excited because they're also really coming up with a strategy for our program, Collaborative 360, and it's going to help all of our organizations that are working together to work even better together
And more privately.
and privately. All of you have
No
heard.
more data mining.
Yeah, and tell them about data mining.
Well, everybody knows that whenever you go on the internet, this, for instance, is being recorded and mined for data. Everything we have on the internet. But with this new system, which we call like the intraweb, or what do we call it? Zeek hosting.
Okay.
And that together with the archive, you can't get data mined. You also, the hacking in the archive is probably non-existent.
Yeah, yeah. And all of you have heard of Snowden and what recently has happened. And so there's so much information that's able to be hacked into. This new program is going to be able to protect what you do, protect your intellectual property.
Yeah.
And just the systems as far as what it's setting up also so that our forums can be accessed more easily by our affiliates that are part of the program. I mean, I'm excited about that too. So I know we're kind of jumping around, but that's because Veronica has her hand in on so much that, again, it's just going to also help and impact our humanity as a whole. So, Veronica, I want to thank you so much for being on.
Thank you. My
Thank
pleasure
you.
entirely.
I look forward to having you on again. This is Sherita Herring with Drive Time. And that's because it's drive time in Los Angeles from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. I know that there are many of you that are on and listening to us all over the globe, but it is drive time here in Los Angeles. So I want you to catch us next week during your drive time or when you're almost at your sleeping time for everyone else. And again, thank you for joining us. And Veronica, I want to thank you again.
Thank you.
So are we ready?
Hit it. How you feel, brother? You feel good? Ain't so much bone, brother. How you feel, man? I call your name. I don't want no people to know you're in here. How you feel, fella? Hey, Jam! Sure getting down. But gotta take you high. Yeah. All right. You wanna do it again? You wanna do it again, huh? Yeah.